Watching News at Prime, let's bring you this now. The city of Johannesburg and its water utility says the commando system remains critically low, and this is due to high demand. The residents in various areas took to the streets last week to express their frustration over persistent water cuts. Now, Joburg Water Managing Director Ndebele joining us this evening to tell us more about this particular issue. Mr. Mukwebo, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Let's start with the question that seeks to find out just how widespread is the water crisis in Johannesburg, because the northern parts of the city are complaining that it's been 4 days without water. We thought this matter was confined to a specific area around the city of Joburg.
Thank you very much, Toli, and good evening to you and to the viewers as well. The challenge that we are having regarding supply from some of our system is really limited to about 4 systems. The system that we are struggling with is commando system, which supplies Westdean, Brixton, and the surrounding areas. It is the Alexander, which supplies Kingston, Malvern, and surrounding areas. It is the President Park, which supplies the Ivory Park area, as well as Berea, which supplies portion of Berea. So those are the systems that we are really struggling in terms of maintaining sufficient level so that we can be able to supply water to high-lying area. You'll find that in certain days we are supplying, but supplying mainly in the low-lying area. So I'm sure the issue that you are referring to, Toli, when you say 4 days northern area, you are referring to the Braston issue.
Indeed.
Which the Braston issue had nothing to do with the issue of supply and demand. We were dealing with a pipe failure or burst pipe that occurred on Thursday. It is a bulk line, and of course it took us some time to be able to restate that, but it was eventually resolved, the issue of repairing that burst pipe.
All right. Let's then talk about how soon can the communities start having running water in their taps. And I'm saying this based on what the mayor said last week at those meetings on Thursday that give us, I think it was 7 working days, and water will be running in your taps. Round about now, I should think that that deadline is fast approaching.
The situation of stabilizing the commando system, we are happy with the progress. We have seen the system improving since Friday up to today, whereby there are areas that we were still struggling to supply last week, which we have started supplying. But of course, we haven't really been able to stabilize the entire system in such a way that we're able to supply to the entire zones, including high-lying area. But the progress that we are seeing is quite good, and we are confident that for commando system, which is the one that we are referring to, we should be able to make sure that it is supplying by end of this week. Okay,
so in plain language, you are going to meet the 7-day deadline?
Yes, for commando system, because the 7-day deadline was specific to commando system. Because already by the time when we were having the public meeting, 2 of them with the residents of the area, there were already plans that were being implemented, and those plans were clear, indicating to us that we should be able to stabilize and start having water in the entire zone within 7 days. But of course, the end work doesn't end there, because as we have indicated, that the issue that we are dealing here with mainly is the issue of supply and demand. It means we'll need to carry on monitoring the system and make sure that we are managing that system closely so that we don't lose it.
Let's talk about the 4 billion rand that was allocated specifically to Joburg Water. That money has since been diverted. Why? Where did it go?
I think I'm hearing a lot about the issue of 4 billion, Toli, and I think the context has been lost completely. So 4 billion, it is the cash position that Johannesburg Water reported at our financial year end, which is end of June 2025. This is like, what, 3 months back or so. So as we end the year, we had 4 billion rand in the bank, which we were reporting in our financials. So the issue that really were being discussed here is the accessibility to that, which I think the executive mayor also in the morning at the press briefing, he gave really a full context to say, currently, as we operate as metro or municipality, we operate really based on income that comes from 4 areas. It is the income that comes from trading services, which is water, electricity, solid waste, as well as the general account, which is the rates. So all these income streams, they really support municipality in terms of various activities that are happening. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the money has disappeared. This is really the cash position that we are reporting. But of course, the city operates on the mechanism called sweeping accounts, which then goes to a central bank, which then support the broader municipality around its activities.
I hear you, and I think to further tell viewers more about what the mayor said this morning, I'm going to quote directly here. He said, we have to pay salaries, maintain parks, roads, signals from all the money. It is a balancing act on how we spend our budget. But as you say, this is the money that was being reported at the end of the financial year, and that this 4 billion was in the Joburg Water account. Now it has been dispersed into other areas for the city. Why did you do this when you know that your finances are under pressure because of the many infrastructure projects that you need to contend with? Why did you release the money?
So the issue here is that, colleague, this is a standard operating model of municipalities. The municipalities, all its activities, is supported from the 4 sources of income, as I've indicated. And this goes to a central pot, which then, through that central pot, council, as it runs its business, it's able to allocate in terms of budget what's supposed to go where. And of course, if you look from budgeting point of view, the budget that has been allocated to us, we are able to get that budget to support the entity, both from CAPEX and OPEX. However, in terms of the cash flow point of view, the actual collection or the actual money that's collected or income that's coming from these 4 sources, it goes to a central pot, which then support various work of the municipality, which of course you'll appreciate that there is a lot of activity that happen in the municipality, which is not necessarily income generating, but it needs to be supported as part of this income stream, from this income stream. But however, I must also indicate to you that, which is the point that the mayor indicated, that there is currently discussion that's going on as part of the trading services reform, which is championed by National Treasury, to say the metros, we need to treat the trading service differently, meaning water services, electricity, and solid waste, in the sense that the bulk of the resources that come from services must be invested back to the trading services. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be portion that will go to the general account to assist municipalities to run other activities. But there will be clear rules so that the trading services or the assets that are really generating the income are supported more from maintenance point of view, from renewing those assets and expanding the assets. And this is a process that's currently happening. And council has approved that as part of our turnaround plan to say Johannesburg Water participate in this initiative that National Treasury is running. And we believe that it's a process that will be concluded before end of this financial year.
Sure. So simply put, that money from trading services has to be ring-fenced. And that's the discussion that National Treasury is now swaying you towards. On that point, on that point, has Joburg Water made sure that all of its contractors are not owed monies? Basically, your contractors, are they up to date in terms of payment? You don't owe any contractors monies?
We strive to pay contractors within the prescribed timelines, but of course it do happens where you find that there are periods that we are not being able to pay within the prescribed timelines, simply because, of course, there are certain days that we may find that as the city, we are stretched. So it do happen, but of course there are those that we pay on time.
So there are those that you prioritize, but there are those that you owe right now as we speak.
Not necessarily there are those that we prioritize. We prioritize every payment that needs to happen. What I'm saying simply that you may find that it's happening that we're supposed to be running certain payments in a particular week or particular date, and we are possibly either not being able to run all of them, and we'll end up running either in the following week or so.
Final question to you. There is a worry that has been expressed from national government. The Director-General, Sean Phillips, in fact, he is quoted in the article I'm looking at from News 24, because the issue of this 4 billion was actually raised at the time that he was, I think, within the city during a water and sanitation oversight parliamentary sitting on the 2nd of September. And part of his commentary, Mr. Mukwebo, and this is the worry for you, the issue is that he said that the issues that Johannesburg Water's financial capacity is in terms of executing critical infrastructure projects was, and I quote, severely compromised. That has to be a major worry for you when an accounting officer at a national department says your capacity to execute critical infrastructure projects is severely compromised. Are you aware which areas he's talking about here?
So the area that my understanding is that he was talking about the current model at which we operate as municipality or metro, which really the resources that comes from trading services are not necessarily fenced. Because what simple means is that there is much more that we could be doing if we're using a model which is currently under discussion, which focuses on ring-fencing resources that are coming from trading services. So what he was advocating to say we need to move towards trading services, because currently, as it stands in the current model where resources goes to the central port, it's really denying us opportunity to invest at the rate that we should.
It's a worrying situation indeed. Well, we hope to talk to you next time, and I'm sure we'll be talking slightly better news with that deadline of 7 days in order to supply the areas that have been without water. Thank you very much for today. That's the Johannesburg Water's Managing Director, Ndebele Mukwebo. All right, when News at Prime continues.